Welcome back to the second video now on the POCO F7 Pro and the POCO S7 Ultra. Because of embargoes there are 3 of them in total. I'm restricted in what I can show you here, but this time around I can talk a little bit more about it and I can show you some benchmarks. So both of them, they do have ultrasonic fingerprint readers here and they are working really well. No issues with them. Very good. And the UI Hyper OS. Now I did see that there's a little bit more bloatware with the cheaper model, the F7 Pro, and that's with the games they have pre-installed. There's still a bit on the POCO. It's nothing major. Of course, you can uninstall that, but I still wanted to mention that. Now, with the synthetic benchmarks here running Antutu, the Snapdragon 8 Elite, of course, does outperform the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. This is the latest and greatest here, and you can see quite a difference there with the CPU and GPU performance. Now, in the UI, you don't really see this difference at all, and in gaming, barely. Maybe less frame drops, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later in this very short video. The internal storage, so both of them have 512 gigabytes of UFS 4.0 storage, and very similar there. However, the cheaper model did pull ahead with the random access. That's a big one. That is faster the reads, although the writes are faster in this one, and slightly higher sequential reads there. But you know, these scores are always going to be slightly different every time you run it and between different phones, so I wouldn't base your decision on that too much. And when it comes to Geekbench, which I have run here, I'll just bring this up to on this model. You can see there is a difference that Geekbench, especially the multi-core score, quite a bit higher here as expected with the Snapdragon 8 Elite, but not a massive difference. Again, I don't really think you're going to notice that unless you do run these synthetic benchmarks here. But we'll have a look now at the open CL score here. This is using Geekbench again, and as expected, the faster chipset pulls ahead, but not too much of a difference there really between those there, okay? And I can't talk about things like the battery capacity or battery life or the cameras. Unfortunately, that'll have to come in the final embargo video that everyone will be dropping there, but it's a little bit more information. When we look at gaming performance, having tested out both of them, they really are identical. The only thing is maybe a few less frame dips here with the Snapdragon 8 Elite model. And we have the gaming turbo, so if you swipe from the upper left-hand side, you can bring this up. You can use this to clear the RAM out in the background, boost the performance, and the frame rate, it will just display it right there. And I think they are really identical here. There's not really that much of a difference. But yes, if you demand the absolute best performance, go for the POCO F7 Ultra with that Snapdragon 8 Elite. In synthetic benchmarks, it is clearly superior. But here in real world gaming, I really can't tell too much of a difference having tested them both out. So there we go, that's the POCO F7 Pro and the F7 Ultra, and I do apologize for not showing you the camera and battery life and charging stats and things like that because, well, I can't. We're under that embargo. So just for now, it's those benchmarks and gaming performance, which you can see is looking great for these 2 value flagship devices from POCO.